Welcome to the first episode of the No Name Podcast. I'm your host, Dinosaur, and we talk about anything and everything here. First, we're going to start out with Warzone and Vanguard's new anti cheat. So let's get into it.
We're gonna look at the new Rico Chet anti-cheat for Call of Duty Warzone. So they're saying this anti-cheat is for Warzone and Vanguard. It's running on a kernel level. It's interesting that they're gonna use it for Vanguard. Just talking about the cheaters. Just talking about how cheating is frustrating, yes. Teams have made great strides in combating this persistent issue that affects so many, but we know it must be done. We are proud to use Rico Chet anti-cheat. I bet you that's not how you say it. A robust anti-cheat system that supports a robust anti-cheat system supported by a team of dedicated professionals focused on fighting unfair play. I'm just gonna start paraphrasing. The anti-cheat is a multi-faced approach. The anti-cheat is a multi-faced approach to fix cheating. It's a server-side tool which monitors analytics to identify cheating, enhance investigation processing, and stamp out cheaters. It just says it's going to be with Warzone and Vanguard. So it launches, it's a PC kernel level driver, which doesn't make sense. If you're gonna run it as a server side tool, which they state right here, new server side tool, why are you running kernel level driver support on PC? They're not probably not running kernel side drivers on consoles. Okay. It will assist in the identification of cheating, reinforcing the strengthening the overall security of the server. It will launch aside the Pacific Update Warzone later this year. Console players playing via cross against students will also stand to benefit. Okay. I mean, there's also cheating going on with consoles, so I don't understand why they're limiting it there. Okay, it's a full anti-cheat system. I mean, what's a half anti-cheat system? Again, for Vanguard and Warzone, still don't understand why Vanguard, but whatever. It's going to be integrated with Vanguard at a later date, whenever that comes out. I love this. The new innovative allows for rapid iteration to combat a sophisticated and evolving problem. Wow. Oh my. Okay, the kernel level driver gives you high level access to monitor and manage software and applications on a PC, such as your PC's graphics card driver. It will check the software and applications that attempt to interact and manipulate Warzone, providing the overall security team more data and bolster security. It will require to play Warzone. Okay, so if you're playing Warzone, I guess you have to turn it on. Is this like, I believe this is like Valorant at this point. Its initial rollout, the kernel driver will only operate when you play on PC. The driver is not always on, of course. Software turns on when you start Warzone. What do you mean when you start Warzone? You can't just start Warzone. You're playing Modern Warfare. Only monitors and reports activity related to Call of Duty. I mean, of course they're going to write that. Please continue to report in-game issues. Yada yada yada. Okay. Monitor software and applications that attempt to interact with Call of Duty Warzone. So if I have like Discord open and I have an overlay, is it gonna ban me for messing with Warzone? Learn about suspicious behavior using that data to strengthen its overall anti-cheat. Ensuring player privacy is extremely important. Yes, it is. It's not always on. Monitor software and applications. Alright, so at least it's better than at least it's better than what Genshin started in as. Better than Valorant though. It's like what BattleEye does. It starts and stops when you supposedly it starts and stops when you play the game. Okay. What else we got? Player reporting will remain a critical element. I mean, that's fine. Ensure two-factor authentication is on. That's fine, whatever. We intend to amplify its arrival both in-game and by using our communication channels. Further information on what, the commitment or something? Let's see what he got. I mean, this is pretty much just what the articles read. It's pretty much what the forum post, whatever thing was. What data does the driver examine on that PC? It monitors the machine and process interacting with Warzone. What testing has been done? Testing for the new driver has been done to ensure system stability across the large range of PCs. What testing has been done? What? They didn't explain. Oh my. Could we opt out of using this driver while we play Warzone? You literally can't just write yes or no. Why can't you just write, I got you. You ready? No. What is it? What is it? Ricochet anti-cheat is required to play Warzone. Can't spell Warzone. Shutting this software down will result in, what are we gonna write? Like a restart of the game will result in game not functioning. There. That's how you answer it. Will this solve cheating? Oh my. There's no single solution to policy or cheating. So we are dedicated. Oh my, this is something else. Should players report others for in-game cheating? Yes, players should always report. Additional system requirements. Why include that? Just write this. Again, I'm just gonna fix this. Make a website so much easier. It's a kernel level driver. Ready? Boom. Okay, no, that didn't work because I didn't fix it. What's it called? Ricochet is a kernel level driver. Get rid of later this year. Ah, that's great. Just keeps breaking. Alright. No other system requirements. Alright. How do I uninstall the kernel level driver? If Call of Duty Warzone is uninstalled, the kernel level driver will only be moved from your PC. Subsequently, installations of Warzone on PC will include the kernel level driver. Well, the kernel level driver is only a part of Rico anti-cheat. I keep calling it Rico anti-cheat. Ricochet or Ricochet or whatever the heck they're gonna name this thing will be released on PC by extension. Console players playing via cross-platform playing against on PC will also stand to benefit. This literally doesn't say yes or no, which is only part of Ricochet anti-cheat. Will be released to PC. Just, oh man, ready? They're literally writing this, so the legal work doesn't say yes or no. No. This is only available on PC. Console hackers are free to continue the work. Perfect. Like, come on. Two-factor authentication is extremely important. I mean, when it works. So, by the way, up here it goes the PC kernel level driver. And then down here, before I edited it, it was like, console players will benefit when playing cross-platform. Turn it off then. If you're getting that upset playing cross-platform, just turn it off. Kernel level drivers is computer code that operates with high level privileges. Computer code. Who wrote this stuff? Oh, here we go. We didn't read this. Will enhance anti-cheat security for both Vanguard and Warzone. Wait, read about that. Yeah, alright, that's it. That's... Oh my. Oh my. Well, I guess that's it for now. This is hilarious. That's pretty much it. It's just a kernel level driver that pretty much works like any other anti-cheat software, I guess. I guess if you like put a VM on for Linux players, that's gonna result in probably like a ban or something. I'm 90% sure that when they release this, there's gonna be so many false positive bans. And it's not the player. It's gonna be the the weapons they use or just anything. All right, that's it for now. I mean, we'll see what happens when they release this thing for Warzone, and whoever actually decides to go play Vanguard. But this topic's done. On to the next. Until I think about anything else for gaming, we'll go on to some tech news. So since we are talking about anything and everything, so when it's just me for these podcasts, we're gonna be talking about a few opinionations I have, and then we'll just talk about some tech news of recent releases and It'll be shorter than when we have some special guests on. Apple says it's likely to cut the iPhone 13 production due to chip shortage. The Wall Street Journal says that Apple is studying the potential of using AirPods as a health device. Take a look at that in a second. However you say that. And CNBC states that Apple decides its victory against Epic wasn't enough. It wants a total win. So first, we're going to talk about the chip shortages. We're just saying that this is October 12th. These numbers I'm about to state. So Apple's shares fell 1.2% in after trading. Apple's stock went down 1.2% in after hours trading. I mean, 1.2% isn't as bad as it could be. Wow, Apple declined to comment. So they're saying that Apple forecast slowing revenue growth and said the chip shortage, this is in July, mind you, which had started hitting its ability to sell Macs and iPads, would also crimp iPhone production. It's back in July. It's crazy. With its massive purchasing power and long-term supply agreements with chip vendors, Apple has weathered the supply crunch better than many other companies, leading some analytic to forecast that the iPhone 13 models released in September would have a strong sales year as consumers look to upgrade devices for 5G networks. FieldHack said the iPhone 13 sale appeared to be healthy and higher than last year's iPhone 12, and Counterpoint is not changing its estimated 85 million to 90 million iPhone 13 sales for the fourth quarter. So according to this, they're saying that even with the chip shortage, they're possibly going to hit their margin. I don't know, because it says the company is expecting to hit 90 million units. Now that's a lot of just the new iPhone. And then later on they say that its estimate was 85 to 90 during the fourth quarter. So I don't know. We'll see what this chip shortage ends up bringing. Even without a chip shortage, hitting 85 to 90 million sales is insane. All right, time to go to the Wall Street Journal and figure out what's going on with their AirPods. Apple is studying ways to make AirPods into health devices. I believe before I read this article, I believe they were talking about hearing aids. Because if you go into settings, you can already pair a like newer generation Bluetooth hearing aid to your phone as like a little booster, and I think it would use the microphone of your phone. I don't know. So, I mean, that's another market Apple could get into. So this is saying that it isn't clear if Apple is developing a specific new hearing aid feature for the AirPods or wants to market the earbuds' existing hearing improvement feature as hearing aids. AirPods Pro, Apple's higher-end earbuds, already offer features to improve hearing, including Conversation Boost, launched last week, that will increase the volume to clarify of people in front of the wearer. The proposed AirPods feature unexpected by next year and might never be rolled out to consumers, or timing could change. Caution people familiar with the company's plans. So pretty much they're just saying they may not roll out with a what is it, like a better software side for the AirPods or AirPods Pro for hearing aid abilities. I mean, but down the line they'll probably do it. There's no doubt about that. Because then they could market the AirPods Pro rather than just being earbuds as, well, you know, instead of getting a hearing aid, Just get her AirPods. And the Wall Street Journal just goes into more depth of the percentages, and I just see a big market that Apple's probably going to target. So they say about 28 million Americans suffer. This is just Americans. I don't know about the rest of the world. So, about 28 million Americans suffer from mild hearing loss, yet 5% only use hearing aids. Another 12 million suffer from another 12, so on top of the 28? Wow. Suffer moderate hearing loss, and 37% use hearing aids. AirPods may not be suited for some sufferers of hearing loss because they don't have all-day battery life. That is true. Also, Apple has been beaten to the hearing aid market by its electoral rival Bose. Nice. Which sells an FDA-cleared hearing aid that consumers can customize themselves. That's cool. AirPods dominate the global Bluetooth market, generating 12.8 billion in revenue in 2020, which they say is 5 times the figure of number 2 player Bose. Okay, all in all, this is saying that the AirPods can't be marketed as hearing aids yet. Of course, because of federal regulations. And the FDA is working to complete safety and effectiveness rules as required by the 2017 law for new category of over-the-counter hearing aids that consumers can tune themselves. The rules are expected to permit companies like Apple, Bose, and Samsung to market cheaper hearing aids. And Wall Street Journal says that this appeared in the Wall Street Journal says this appeared in the October 14, 2021, printed as Apple examines AirPods as a hearing aid. Alright. Let's figure out. Alright, the last thing is let's figure out why Apple's gonna be attacking Epic Games again. Man. So now, if I remember correctly, that app was it Apple or Epic Games? One of the two, I believe it was Epic Games, said that the consumers didn't want to pay through. No, sorry. If I remember correctly, it's that the percentage of in-app purchases through Apple, they take like a percentage of revenue, of course, because you're using their services. And Epic Games wanted a way for players to use, let's just say the credit card or something, to use for in-app purchases. But Apple was saying like, no, we're not able to do that or something. And then I think it was Apple took it off their Play Store, and it was in like some violation or whatever it was. We're just gonna read this to figure out the backstory anyway. Oh, I forgot about this. As for ergonomics, the AirPods would lean on the motion sensors in the earbuds to alert the wearer of slouching to improve their posture, according to the documents and persons familiar with the idea. Offering AirPods as hearing aids could significantly expand their research. Interesting. But like, my take on that is, what if you're listening to music or something, and you fall asleep? Are you just gonna wake up because there's a loud beep in your ear from slouching? All right. Apple decides its victory against Epic wasn't enough. It wants a total win. Let's see what CNBC says. We'll start with the beginning. Apple wants another go in its legal battle against Epic Games. On Friday night, Apple announced it would ask for a stay on a judge's September order, saying Apple would have to allow apps to direct consumers to external websites. That ruling would allow... Huh. That ruling would let app businesses circumvent Apple's requirement to facilitate payments only inside of apps where Apple takes up to a 30% cut. Jeez. Apple's also appealing the ruling. Epic Games is also appealing to the 9 counts it lost. It could take years before the case is resolved, and Apple is forced to make any changes to iOS, the operating system for Windows. I'm not gonna read any of that. Oh, man. Because Epic Games is also appealing to the 9 counts it's lost, it could take years before the case is resolved and Apple is forced to make any changes to the iOS. Say that one more time. Because Epic Games is also appealing to the 9 counts it lost, it could take years before the case is resolved and Apple is forced to make any changes to iOS. As the two companies wrangle through the appeals process in court. While the company always left open to the possibility of an appeal, it portrayed the judge's ruling as a resounding legal win for its App Store business model. Here's a quote: "We are very pleased with the court's ruling, and we consider this a huge win for Apple," Kate Adams, Apple's lawyer, said in September following the ruling. Friday night announcement inspired a torrent of commentary from Apple critics. They pointed out the move Apple would preserve. They pointed out the move would preserve Apple's App Store profits by preventing apps from using alternative payment systems. One company announced last week that it was already working on a cheaper web-based alternative to Apple's payments. A move made possible only by the ruling that Apple is now appealing. Apple does not disclose any profit margins from the App Store, but it did generate $64 billion in gross sales in 2020. Wow. Apple said it filed the appeal now because it faces legal deadline this month. If Apple does not appeal now, it would forever lose the option. That's how the legal system works. For some reason. Apple has also framed in its appeal as a way of hold off a hasty business decision before the case is fully closed. The current order from the judge requires Apple to allow apps to link out to the web in December. So, I guess by December they have to, allow apps to be able to access at least the web for, payments. If the judge grants Apple to stay on the order next month, then the status quo will remain until Epic Games and Apple settle their beef. I love how they use their beef. It could take years and help Apple resist more forced changes on its App Store model. In the meantime, there are plenty of other external legal threats to Apple's App Store. For example, a bipartisan bill in the Senate would force Apple to accept alternative in-app payments. Plus, Apple is already forced to comply with a regulatory decision from Japan. Oof. To allow some apps to link out to the websites, and the Japanese order does not apply to games, which is where the Japanese order does not apply to games, which is where most people believe Apple makes their largest amount of store profit. Apple may also have initially pitched the ruling to Epic Games' case as a win, but its appeal shows it will protect its lucrative App Store model until the bitter end. And that is the end of the CNBC article. Wow. Oh my. This pretty much means Apple was not in compliance with the result that was given. Oh my. So all in all, if they can get appeals done for developers, then I mean that's a large chunk of change, 15 to 30%. Let's just say the in-app purchases was like $1. Well, that supposed dollar you get turns, if at most, to what, 70 cents before any like fees or anything. That's like the straight apples cut. That is crazy. I wonder what's gonna happen. I wonder if the I wonder if they're gonna have to I mean, they're probably gonna, because this is not gonna end. There's gonna be a moment where, what is it, only apps built by Apple with in-app purchases are gonna purchase or be purchased through the App Store. As like I mean like as well as like if you buy an app on the App Store. I mean like if you purchase an app on Apple's Apple Store. Oh, it's a lot of editing. I mean like if you purchase an app on Apple's App Store, Apple gets their cut, the developer gets their cut, but the in-app purchases of that paid app are probably going to be on some developer's website to ensure that they get the developer gets the payment. I mean, I highly doubt they're gonna lower prices like that. If an in-app purchase is 99 cents, they're gonna keep it 99 cents. But this just means that with like any contract or app that Apple themselves develops, was like Apple Music or something like that. That's an Apple what, like subscription service. So that's not gonna go to some third-party website. It's gonna be Apple's in-app purchase. I think. I don't know if you can purchase the what's it call it? Can you purchase Apple Music through the App Store? I think. I don't know. That's gonna be. But if it becomes, it's just an interesting topic of how it's gonna be. Yeah, it could take years and help Apple resist more forced changes, but listen, at some point it's gonna have to change. Or Apple just has to lower their percentages that they take from developers. Who knows? We got to see in a few months what that's gonna bring. Let's see, is there any other news that's worthy? The Verge says that Samsung's Unpacked 2 event is going to be Wednesday, October 20th at 7 a.m. Pacific time and 10 a.m. Eastern time. It's called, and I quote, Galaxy Unpacked Part 2, which is according to what they say, is a possibly an indication that rather than all new Galaxy phones, we may be seeing iterations on existing ones. Oh my. Samsung's announcement. We will now have an Apple event on Monday where we're expecting to see new MacBook Pros and Google Pixel 6 launch on Tuesday with, okay, Samsung's on Wednesday, so they're just going to be all right after each other. See, with a chip shortage going on, why announce all these new devices and then go, yeah, we can only make like a limited run of them? I know, I understand that, you don't want to stop production, because then that's how it is. But like, they just said they may not hit their quote for iPhones because of a chip shortage, and Monday they're gonna be supposedly announcing the new MacBook Pros. I don't know. I mean, like, until the event drops, we don't know what they're gonna do. The Verge also says that it's more unlikely that the Galaxy S21 FE lower cost fan edition, okay, that's been kicking around for a while now, it's less likely, mainly because the S21 FE. Who wrote this thing? I'm literally going to read word for word they say. What seems even more unlikely is the Galaxy S21 FE, a lower cost fan edition of the Galaxy S21 that has been kicking around the rumor mill for a while now. It's less likely mainly because the S21 FE is currently a kind of limbo, where it has either been delayed or cancelled because of the chip shortage. Oh my, it's pretty much just like the Warzone anti-cheat software. No one can write this stuff right. Just write it as the S21 FE, a lower cost version of the S21 that has been a rumor now for a while. Just write this more delicately. Probably won't happen because of a chip shortage. Wasn't the S20 like that? Or was it the S10? Wasn't it like an S10, S10e, something like that? Why would you call it Fan Edition FE? Whatever. We're not gonna get into that. Sam Mobile reports that Samsung is still considering a January launch for the S21 FE. Okay, I mean, whatever. Regardless of what Samsung announces on Wednesday the 20th, it will have a hard time getting attention after all the Sturm Apple and Drang Google the previous 2 days. I'm just gonna stop picking The Verge. I know this is like episode 1. No more Verge. There you go. Times Guide. Perfect. So they say Samsung's new PS5 SSD costs half as much as the console. The new Samsung 980 Pro SSD is designed for the PS5. They're designing these specifically for the PS5? I mean, you can go buy a 980 Pro without a heatsink. They're saying that the new 980 Pro is designed for the PS5, comes with a heatsink. The 1TB version costs $250 and the 2TB version costs $450. Both launch October 29th. The drive offers fast read and write speeds up to 7,000 megabytes a second, with write speeds up to 5,100 megabytes a second. Samsung has announced a new SSD that is fully compatible with the PS5. I wonder if you could just buy a 980 Pro yourself and buy a heatsink. Let me just quickly look it up. They say the 980 Pro can run, this is a 500 gigabyte version that I'm looking at the benchmark for, a read speed of 6200, let's just say 6300, and a write speed of 4900. I mean, when you when you have speeds that say up to 7K and write speeds of up to 5100, I mean, they're pretty close. I mean, Samsung has a 980 Pro 1TB for 190 and a 2TB for 380. So I don't know how that's I don't know how that is then. Cuz I feel like this is just a 980 Pro with a heat shrink. I feel like this is a 980 Pro with a heatsink just strapped onto it, and you can do it for less. Unless you can't. I thought Linus did a video that you can just put a 980 Pro inside of a PS5 and just call it a day. I feel like a lot of people did that. 980 Pro SSD is a monster. Same read and write speed that I said earlier. The 2TB model is $50 less than the PS5 itself. They say they tested a WD Black SN850 with a PS5 and they said they got great results. Oh, that's about it. I mean, yes. Okay, we're going to read this because we covered it earlier. Thank you, Tom's Guide, for saying Battlefield 2042 rumored Battle Royale mode is a waste of everybody's time. So, Battle Royale mode. I think I played Battle Royale mode. Is the only game mode you could play during the beta, the open beta. 20 minutes a game, depending on how each side's gone. You could be on there for like an hour or something. Let's read what they got to say. By the way, all these articles will be in the description. A new Battlefield 2042 mode is set to be showcased very soon. The game's developer DICE has confirmed that it will premiere a trailer for the current Under Wraps Hazard Zone mode this week. Fans are already speculating. When was this released? 18 hours ago. Alright. Currently, Hazard Zone announcement trailer is scheduled to launch on October 14th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. They said this is quoted by DICE? I don't know. Let's just say it's quoted by DICE. An all new high stakes multiplayer experience where, end quote, every bullet. Why is that an end quote? They did a double. Oh, okay. I see what they did. I'm getting sidetracked here. An all new high stakes multiplayer experience, end quote, and then literally just put the word where. Whatever. We're just gonna skip all that. Quote. An all-new, high-stakes multiplayer experience where every bullet, every skirmish, every decision counts. And they go, definitely sounds like a Battle Royale mode to us. They said that in 2018, Battlefield 5 received a mode called Firestorm several months after launch, which tasked players with competing to be the last man standing on a rapidly shrinking map. That's pretty much a battle royale. And then it just goes on to say that is this what Battlefield really needs? The community reaction is prospect has fairly muted. Let's not forget that the majority of the core Battlefield players didn't take to the series' previous attack as a battle royale. So unsurprisingly, many were worried that DICE having another crack at the whip. It's also been a problem that Battlefield 2042 is a full-priced $70 release on PS5 and Xbox One. Even on Xbox... Oops, let me re-say that. There's also a problem that Battlefield 2042 is a full-priced $70 on PS5 and Xbox Series X. And on PS4 and Xbox One, it costs $60. Why is it $70 on the newer consoles? This could easily result in Battlefield's Hazard Zone not having the necessary player base to sustain itself. After all, the biggest names in Battle Royale are Fortnite, Apex, Call of Duty Warzone. They're all free to play. For a reason. It's clear the game is a rather raw shape and definitely needs a lot of extra polish. Could be time and effort that being dedicated to chasing Battle Royale, Gravy Train, not have better spent ensuring the Battlefield 2042 staple multiplayer experience was a little more polished. That was a question by Tom's Guide. Of course, there's every possibility that Hazard Zone will be more unique spin on the Battle Royale formula, or it even might be something entirely different. Well, the game is getting released on November 19th. Listen, as soon as they said $70 for the Series X and $60 for the Xbox One, why divide it? Like, straight up, why divide it with a $10 price difference? Especially if you're getting the disc version, you're reading the same content. Alright, thank you, Tom's Guide. I'll put you in the description. I mean, I guess that's it. That's gaming news. That's Apple and Samsung. Ooh, let's look at some Google news. Let's see what they got to say. Google launches new showcase in Japan to pay fees to 40... ... Alright, let's see that. Google. Okay, that is by Kyoto News. ABC News says Google YouTube won't allow ads or monetization of content. Take a look at that. And USA Today says Google's upcoming search engine feature will display ... Alright, we'll take a look at all that. Let's take a look at... This was released October 8th, 2021 on ABC News, saying Google YouTube won't allow ads on monetization content denying climate change. So they're pretty much just, before I read this, but they're pretty much just censoring, in quotes, false information pertaining to climate change by just not allowing them to make money on them. Right, let's read this. Google is cracking down on ads that deny climate change science after advertisers and digital creators complained about them running alongside their own content. Oh my. The company also said it's no longer going to allow content with false claims about climate change to be monetized, and that the new policy also applies to YouTube, likely to be part of a larger effort to curb the spread of misinformation. So, I mean, at least they're not taking down the content, per se, because they could just be straight up censoring them by just removing their videos completely and say it goes against their guidelines. Because that has been done in the past. Let's see, does ABC News go into detail about it? They're just saying, this literally went into detail about climate change. This includes content that refers to climate change as a hoax or a scam, claims that deny that long-term trends show that global climate change is warming, and claims that deny that greenhouse gas emissions or human activity contribute to climate change. I thought we were going tech news. This is just straight politics. When evaluating content against this new policy, we'll look carefully at content in which claims are made, differentiating between content that states a false claim as fact versus content that reports on or discusses that claim. I guess they're saying that if someone's attacking the false accusations on climate change or something like that, it's gonna be fine. But if somebody goes, climate change is not real or something like that, they're gonna demonetize them. Consumers and shareholders have been putting more pressure onto firms to address climate change as scientists and activists ring alarm bells. In quotes, industry accounted for whopping 23%. Nope. Alright, it was just quoted. In 2019, according to U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, behind only transportation, 29%, and electrical production, 25%. So are we missing the rest? Because 23% is from industry, 29% is transportation, and 29% is transportation, and 25% is electricity. Let me just do this math quickly, because I can't. So is that 77% of greenhouse gas emissions? Quote, good news, but not nowhere good enough, Greenpeace said in tweet. Okay, I mean, I don't want to be an English major right there, but said in a tweet responding to Google News, it's time to take the microphone away from big polluters and their slick propaganda and get on with real climate action. There's a desperately need. This literally turned into like tech news to straight politics. I'll put like a skip below. I just wanted Google News about their new phone, which we'll see next week. Okay, Google launches new showcase. Japan to pay fees to 40 publishers. Let's see what Kyoto News says. Tokyo Google LLC expanded its news showcase service to Japan on Thursday. For more than 40 Japanese newspapers and news agencies that each collect a license fee from the tech giant. The news showcase is available on both desktop, smartphone, yada yada yada. Several headlines at a time are being packaged by each news organization. We're just going to read why. Google started the news showcase program last October in Germany and Brazil. Currently, more than 1,000 news outlets such as Reuters, we read one of those, and News Corp, the parent company of the Wall Street Journal, among other major outlets, have joined the scheme in over a dozen countries. The tech giant expects to pay $1 billion to news publishers around the world 3 years from October 2020. I mean, that's cool. So they're bringing their news showcase to Japan. So the quote 40 Japanese newspapers, end quote, quote 40 Japanese newspapers and news agencies, end quote, can I guess start getting paid for their international online news. Is that what it is? It's a very short article. All right, let's read what U.S. Today has. Let's see what they got to say. Alright, this upcoming Google search engine feature will compete with Facebook and Twitter's curating news. Google is developing a new feature called Big Moments, which will compete with rivals Facebook and Twitter in delivering the latest breaking news updates during major events. And they just pretty much get political, saying COVID forced the search engine to react quickly, constant to its users' needs. Yada yada yada. Just more COVID talk. A third of US adults get their news on Facebook, while 13 go to Twitter. According to Pew Research study. Okay, in contrast, only 11% of US adults go to Google, and 24% say they use it sometimes. Huh. That was in December. By the way, this article was released October 11th, 2021. It was published at 4:53 and updated at 7:32. I wonder what was updated. The research showcased from an Oxford study that a lot of people got their stuff from Facebook and Twitter. Many people don't trust social media. According to news from social media, that is true, because there's a lot of, I don't want to say propaganda, but like someone could say one thing and then like a lot of influencers may either just take that and put a spin on it, or they may see some like false news or something. I'm not going to get too political and put their own spin onto it. Unlike social media sites, Google's context building full coverage feature shows the same view to anyone searching the topic around the world and is not personalized to a specific user, Google said in its press release. I mean, that's good. Should be like that. No matter where you are, no matter what your account is logged in, gotta get the same result. They said it plans to highlight the most authoritative facts about a specific event in real time, such as death, injury counts, incorporate government data, events like mass shootings and natural disasters, says the information. We're continually experimenting with ways to ensure that people who come to Google can find the most authoritative and up-to-date information when they need it. It's an unreleased experimental feature right now, and it will continue to evolve. Is that the end of this article? Yeah. Alright, so yeah, a lot of people get their stuff from the the Facebook suite and Twitter. I mean, you just saw I use Google to get all this this news. But that was because I needed to hook on to their news stories. So like if like USA Today, if I had a USA Today like newspaper, I'd just be reading that. I mean, I guess that's it. We talked about Battlefield. We talked about Samsung's new hardware for games. That's going to be considered on the edge of like gaming news and tech news. We talked about Apple. We talked about Google's political stuff. Nothing about their tech. Which is very interesting. Oh, here we go. Alright, well, this is technically more politics. There we go. That's what we're talking about. Google files a counterclaim in Epic Games lawsuit. Says it's owed financial relief. This is more politics right here. The court decision in Apple's case was that Epic owed financial relief to Apple to the tune of $6 million. Epic Games did the much thing on Google Play. The counterclaim alleges. Last year, Epic submitted a bill for Fortnite to Google Play, which used Epic's own direct payment system, not Google's billing. This submission was immediately rejected for failing to comply with Google's policies. This is back in 2020. In August of 2020, it allowed Fortnite users to choose between Google Play billing and Epic's own direct payment system. It's supposed to trigger a whole thing for the App Store. Google said it notified Epic Games on the same day the hotfix was applied in violation of the DDA. Google's malicious behavior policy and Google Play's billing policy was removed the app from the Google Play Store. It did not disable Epic's account so the game maker could resubmit a complaint version. I mean, it shouldn't disable Epic's developer account. Android users who had downloaded the game from Google Play Store could use Epic's own payment systems even after the game was pulled, allowed Epic to evade its contractually obligated service fee to Google. The counterclaim states Google is asking the court to award restitution of its lost fees. In addition, other damages, attorney fees, interest, and any other relief the court deems necessary. Epic is a multi-billion-dollar company backed by two of the world's largest video game developers. The counterclaim states it's not satisfied with those immense profits it entered into legal argument with Google, with which it never intended to comply, deceiving Google and concealing its true intentions to provoke illegal and public relations to confrontation. Jesus, that continues to this day. Its actions put its users at risk, harm Google, and deserving relief from the court. Epic Games further no comment. Google's situation is different than Apple. It did hold on. It did not declare Apple a monopoly. If Apple blocks other payment methods, it's definitely going to be marked as a monopoly. The court agreed that Apple exclusively is a monopolistic practice that disadvantages developers. The court agreed that Apple should not block developers from sharing a link. It did not declare Apple monopoly, but it pretty much said it. Google's situation is a bit different, as Android allows for side-loading apps. It means there's another method of reaching Android users outside Google Play, making an antitrust claim more difficult. And Google's also filed its answer with the state attorneys general, developer, and consumer cases. Sweet. This was published October 12th, 2021. And some, tech news from Google. So, Google's Pixel 6 reveal event is October 19th. Which is Tuesday. Let's see, the Pixel 6. This is by CNET. Released October 13th, 2021. They say that the Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro is going to be running Android 12. It's going to be, I believe I said this earlier, 10 a.m. Pacific time is when it starts, yes. 10 a.m. Pacific time. It's saying both phones will sport a camera bar along the back and come in a variety of pastel and metallic colors. The phone was teased back in August. It uses Google's in-house Tenor system on chip. The internal change could take a cue from how Apple designs its own chips for the iPhone line, allowing Google to further customize their support for the Pixel. You know how many phones Google has to stop producing? haven't even made it out of the beta stage before they canceled them. We did not yet learn the specs of the Pixel's cameras. Google did reveal that both phones have a new sensor that takes 150% more light than the Pixel 5. I don't have the numbers, so I don't know how much 150% more is, but even 100% more is something. The Pixel 6 Pro will step up its camera bar, including a telephoto lens with a 4x optical zoom. The Tensor chip will also provide photography improvements on the software side, such as fixing blurry photos. That's a good combination of multiple shots into a single image. Did they already do that? I don't know. We'll see on October 19th everything else. But they said it's possible to include a 50 megapixel wide camera and a standard 23 watt wireless charger and a Pixel Pass subscription. Okay, I mean, right. Oh, the Pixel Pass subscription is like Google's YouTube Premium and some other stuff. This last possibility could be a rival to Apple's One subscription bundles. While including the cost of the Pixel 6 or Pixel 6 Pro, we would also be similar to Microsoft's Xbox All Access subscription that would bundle game console with its Xbox Pass Ultimate. That's it. Just the launch events on the 19th at 10 a.m. It's getting a new chip, some camera work. They say that the Pixel 5 had a launch price of $699 and the Pixel 3 and 4 had a launch price of $799. So probably the Pixel 6 will be up there in those prices. Just put on screen what the Pixel 6 and Pro may look like. I think that's what the phones are going to look like, keeping their bar design up top. I mean, the original bar design. I guess that's pretty much it. By the way, the more you scroll down, the more stuff pops up. Oh, here we go. Here's the rumored specs from earlier. They said the Pixel 6 will be a supposed 6.4-inch screen with a full HD plus with a 90 Hz refresh rate, 50 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel ultra wide for a rear camera setup, an 8 megapixel front facing, a 4600 milliamp hour battery, the Tensor processor, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 128 to 256 gigabytes of storage with OS 12, with Android 12. The Pixel 6, on the other hand, is a 6.7-inch screen, quad HD plus with a 120 Hz refresh rate, a 50 megapixel wide, 48 megapixel telephoto, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide for a rear camera setup with a 12 megapixel front facing camera, a 5000 milliamp hour battery, the Tensor processor, 12 gigabytes of RAM, 128, 256, and 512 gigabyte of storage options, and again, running Android 12. Again, these are all just rumors. We don't know until the release date of what these phones are gonna be spec'd out with. And that's the news. That's it. It's pretty much not political with Google anymore. I'll put all the stuff in the description below. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Hopefully next time we'll have a special guest on and we can go from there.
Let me know down in the description what I should add next week.